What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to give you a quick overview from the current data points, what shorts did, as well as just a quick summary of their technology and manufacturing days. I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid surprisingly was able to pull off a green day. So it did close 2.02% in the green. So it was kind of recovering with the broader market. At the same time, it did bounce off of Lucid's 50-day moving average. So kind of the saving grace, but generally there was a lot of suppression. So a lot of entities were selling. I'm going to go over all of that in a second, but even during this time period, so the first part of the day, shorts were increasing around 2.5 million shares. And that's been a common occurrence over the last, week, is the fact that shorts have been really wanting to break Lucid on a technical level. So no different than today, but I think they kind of did admit defeat because by the end of the day, they did end up only increasing 90,000 shares. So it went from around 2.5 to 90, so they did return quite a lot. 27.55% of the free float is being shorted, 247.1 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is a little bit lower than yesterday. So of course that is derived based off of just supply and demand of available shares. So it is sitting at 7.45. So starting off though with news. So they did put out news this morning. So Lucid showcases Gravity SUV and provides analysis of cost effectiveness of its enabling technology during the technology and manufacturing day. So in case you did miss it, it kind of ran a little bit longer than I anticipated. So I was kind of anticipating like 15 to 30 minutes because in the past, Lucid's launch events were only like 30 minutes. This one lasted like around an hour and a half. If you love technology, then, and you're more focused, engineer focused, if that kind of makes sense, then yeah, listen in because Peter was very passionate about what he was talking about. And in reality, it made a dumbass like myself understand exactly a lot of the components because I know on a day-to-day basis, I go over a lot of the technicals and the data points itself, but I often don't really bring up their technology, loosely, of course. But Peter spoke on how, once again, Lucid's technology is far greater than its competitors. And in the past, like you only have a finite amount of time to speak during earnings calls, right? So I think this was him. He had listeners, and so he let them have it. He just ranted and talked and talked. So Peter doing Peter. So I learned a lot. As far as new information, so if I was to share like exactly some highlight details that people needed to know, I would say that it was this right here. So this is from their presentation. It was 167 pages or slides, I guess, but slide number 78. So he kind of hid this. So this is something new that is coming. So next generation Atlas drive unit. So this is going to be primarily for that midsize SUV. And I have the transcripts available, so I can kind of post that in the description below as well. But there is some things, actually I will do that. I'll post just that snippet of when he was speaking during this time period in the description because he mentions that this Atlas drive unit is going to help with various versions of this midsize SUV. So there's already planned for various versions of it, as well as at the same time as that, they can incorporate it in the Gravity. So in my opinion, that means a second version of the Gravity. And so of course, I think it's going to go midsize SUV, second version of Gravity, and then possibly other mid-sized models. So yeah, definitely, I think this part, so slide 79 to basically where it is here, 81, that is what really stood out to me. One negative though that he kind of didn't say was Gravity. So he kind of kept saying that the Gravity is going to be the next best thing in the broader market, which based on this kind of speech that he had that was an hour and a half, like, yeah, it kind of goes to show that Lucid's technology is next level stuff, but they didn't give a date for the Gravity. So I think that was somewhat of a negative, and I did live stream this, and one thing that really stood out to me. So Peter was talking very confidently about everything, which again, I was learning quite a lot, but the only thing that, you know me, on a side note, I like to play devil's advocate. So if there is a possible negative or a possible positive, I like to, bring it up just so you guys are aware of everything. But Peter spoke for an hour and a half on how Lucid's technology is amazing. I wish I could ask a question. So if their technology is so amazing, why was he talking on how the Germans are trying to really kind of reach the next goal and try to keep up to Lucid? Why are they doing that? Why is anyone even investing in technology when they can just do a licensing agreement with Lucid? Why is that like pulling teeth? Why isn't there like lineups of entities out there wanting Lucid's technology? If it is, and again, he spoke for an hour and a half on how Lucid's technology is absolutely amazing from many different metrics. If that was the case, why are people not lining up? So this is just me playing devil's advocate. Clearly, I was very impressed by this whole thing, but that was one of my very strongest takeaways. So once again, I think just greatness associated to the Gravity unveiling and this mystery drive unit, which is going to be revolutionary and clearly help the midsize and Lucid obtain profitability. So that's kind of the takeaway, if that makes sense. I know, again, there's a lot of good information that was said there, but I don't want to really waste an hour and a half of your time just to go over every finite detail. But moving on, looking at options. So you did have 345,000 in calls, 555,000 in puts. Sentiment-wise, a lot of options being done were more of a multi-leg strategy where it was kind of just a hedge. So clearly they're just trying to take advantage and get some premiums in. And so ultimately 43% of all the options were neutral. You do see a lot of big transactions here. So big money is starting to look at Lucid a little bit and utilizing options. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So you had some buying first thing, you had some selling during this downward period right here. Then you had some buying near the tail end of the day. Dark pool was very popular as usual. So you had some transactions, one big one, 6.5 million. Dark pool is often enough linked to shorting as well as other large transactions. So something to kind of keep in mind behind the scenes. But right now with it closing at $3.53, still kind of in this no man's land. So between this S1 and the pivot. So 313 is going to be the strong support. And that is aside from that 50-day moving average of roughly around that 335-ish. And then $3.75 is going to be that next strong resistance / target. So you do have the presidential debate later tonight. Then you also have CPI and also PPI over the next 2 days on the chopping block. A lot of that is going to be instantly correlated once again with interest rates. And as of right now, there is a 31% likelihood of a 50 basis point cut for the September 18th meeting. So next week as well, this is going to be a very fun time and potentially could really propel a lot of growth stocks to the next level. So again, that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I think Lucid's technology and manufacturing day was a pretty big success. Obviously, there was a lot of people kind of nitpicking on every finite detail of what was said, but I really liked it. So if you guys do have an hour and a half, give or take, I highly recommend you guys listening to it because I really liked it and it was very educational on a lot of different aspects. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Was there anything else that stood out to you about that kind of presentation? And if so, let me know in the comments below. One final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it. They give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Link to this is in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.